There is one thing that you're probably overlooking in your journey to actually have lasting change. Whether or not it's your health and fitness, whether it's business and career success, whether it's just getting your life organised and living life more in alignment with how you want to. That one thing is rewards. It's so important to reward yourself when you achieve milestones along your journey to achieving whatever goal it is you want. If you're trying to achieve fat loss, if you're trying to hit a certain weight, if you're trying to, build your career to a certain point, it is so important to reward yourself on that journey. Why is this important? Because if you never reward yourself, you can objectively achieve some incredible things, and the actual things you've achieved might be all the way up here. But if you never take the time to reward yourself and celebrate what you've actually done, how you see yourself will never change. You all probably know someone who's actually achieved some incredible things, whether it's athletic endeavors, whether it's business success, but when you give them a compliment, they just bat it away straight away and never actually truly own it. And that one key thing is actually rewarding yourself and holding space to kind of celebrate the milestones along the way. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I'm currently here at a 2-day event up in Manchester with my business coach. And part of the identity, this is what I've done and how I've stepped into actually who I want to be. Part of the process of actually to myself over the past few years. So I'm actually rewarding myself with a weekend away, taking a day off from my usual work, having a weekend away, and going to a new city, staying in a hotel for a couple of nights, treating myself by going out and meeting new people, having a cigar last night, having a few drinks. All of those things are rewards for myself. And the reason that's so important is because the long-term identity of the person I want to be would do those things. But previously, I wouldn't have seen myself as worthy of having those things. But it's actually the fact that I don't see myself as being worthy of having those things, that's what's keeping me stuck in an old identity. Before my business was where it is now, which is in a much better place, and I'm really proud of where it's got to, I would shy away from going to events, from putting myself out of my comfort zone and going out and doing these things on my own, actually staying in a hotel, making the effort to go and meet new people on my own. I would shy away from doing that. But in doing so, actually that's holding me back from being the person that I actually want to be, because that person would do those things. And that ultimately, this whole weekend is, yes, I'm learning, yes, I'm strategizing, I'm coming up with plans, yes, it is work, but it's also a reward because it's the type of lifestyle that I want to be living for the rest of my life. Well, not necessarily for the rest of my life, but for a significant period of time. And that is one thing that I've done really well on my journey to actually becoming proud of who I am, staying in shape, building my business to a successful level. And I was also having this conversation with a client the other day, and we were going through, I use this framework called the Milestone Planner with my clients to plan out what their goals are going to be and what their next steps are. And one of the things they actually said was, I said, okay, and what are the rewards going to be when you actually achieve this? And they actually said, oh no, I'm not going to do that. And I actually asked them, I was like, well, why not? And whilst we were talking about it, we actually realized that belief of, oh no, I'm not going to reward myself, is part of the issue. And when we spoke about it, we found out actually, if you reward yourself with something to celebrate the milestone you're actually doing, yes, you're achieving an objective result, which is so important. That's what we all want, is, specific outcomes. But by giving yourself reward, you're actually going to level up your identity to match it. And the only way you're going to really feel proud of who you are long term is by, yes, achieving great things, but also rewarding yourself so that you can feel it, okay, and actually own it. Like if someone was to give you a compliment, you wouldn't bat it away. If someone was to give you a compliment, you would actually own it. You would just say thank you. And you would be able to look at yourself more positively and give yourself compliments, which is ultimately where we want to be. So this is a reminder, guys, that objective achievements on their own are not going to allow you to have lasting change, because ultimately you're always going to go back to a negative and have your old identity if you never reward yourself with anything. Rewards really allow you to actually embody this change and step into that new identity that you're trying to create for yourself. I've been on quite a few one-to-one calls this week. It's the start of the year, helping my clients map out what they're going to achieve. And I've had one client who's lost 60 pounds over the past 12 months. And some of his rewards that he wanted to give himself for the next milestone was new gym kit. One of them was actually a takeaway, because that was something he's been avoiding, but long term his ultimate goal would be not to completely remove those takeaways, but to actually be able to engage with them on his terms and use them as little celebrations, because he really enjoys it. And the long-term identity, the rewards have to match that, not be something completely contradictory. That is ultimately the importance of giving yourself rewards, is that it allows you to embody and step into this new identity and character that you're trying to create for yourself. So how do you go about doing this? You identify where you're currently at, you work out what your next milestone is, how would you feel, what would that look like, and ultimately you finish the question, I would know I've reached my next milestone when, and you decide on a reward. What are you actually going to proactively go and buy yourself or do for yourself, whether it's taking time, whether it's buying new gym kit, whether it's buying a car, whatever that is for you, it's going to be relative to what your goal is and the identity that you're stepping into. So the take home from this, really simple thing that you can do is picture your ideal self that you want to be. How would you feel? What would that look like? What would your body look like? What behaviors might you be doing? Picture that, just like jot notes down. The more clearly you can picture that, the easier this is going to be. And I want you to identify what reward could you give yourself that aligns with that. What reward would that person give themselves? At the start, it's going to feel uncomfortable because ultimately you're trying to act like someone you're not yet. But over time, the more you act like that, the more you will be that person. So I wanted to share that. This weekend for me has been, yes, learning, yes, strategizing, but ultimately it has been a big reward for all of the hard work that I've put into myself and my business over the past few years. And if you want lasting change, you need to set yourself the same thing. You need to set yourself rewards and stop shying away from doing that, because you're only holding back how you're seeing yourself. So I hope that was useful. Really quick one. I'm going to go back into the event now. We're just on a little lunch break. If you have any questions, drop a comment on the video and also drop us a like and subscribe if you find this useful.